might forget. But I'm so happy. I made it. This is the last workshop of the semester. I can't believe it. Oh my gosh, what a ride!
This semester's been a thing. I gave my last lecture last week, and I just wanted to cry.
I got a tear. I'm sorry, Amy. Go ahead.
No, that's it.
I got a tear coming down my eye. I can't believe it. I survived. I'm sure you all feel the same. But you know, you all are you're in the trenches. I'm hidden back here in my corner, so I give credit to you all because you wear so many hats. I mean, you're teachers, you are mental health counselors, you are security. I mean, now you have to act like a security person. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do know what you mean.
So kudos to you. You guys have a tougher job than I do. So. All right, so this workshop is basically just I just really want to talk about how video has really become so important, especially during the remote period. We all realize how important video was, during that time, and those who were prepared and had videos already pre-recorded, I feel they had the advantage kind of because a lot of those faculties were prepared and had videos that they can use to kind of make the job a lot easier. So I think as we move forward, I think we will continue to see video as an important tool in education. And so I said, hey, I think let me do this workshop and just showcase the several tools that we have at FIT at your disposal, and then focus really on Screencast-O-Matic, I guess, just to, but I will talk about the others, just to give you the options that, what we have is available to you. And, Jane, I know you use Voicethread. Voicethread is one of the tools that we have. And I think, Jane, you've been using it for a while now.
Yes, several years. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, my mic is on. Okay.
Right. Right. So Jane, you can speak on a little bit on Voicethread. Like, it's a great tool in the sense that you can have students' voices recorded, and you can have that kind of back and forth communication that you try to kind of recreate in the online environment. Otherwise, you can't really do that, human to human interaction.
Right. It's good. I use it in my freshman class, FM 114. So gives them, it's their first try at speaking, and you get them to speak for quite an amount of time too. And then I comment about their delivery, professionalism, plus content. So it's good. And then sometimes they just listen to my voiceovers on PowerPoints, and the online classes love that.
Right.
And I can tell them about it, expand, give them examples, and then I could also tell them refer to page 142 and just read that one in depth because of blah blah, So.
Right. And Jane says something that really sticks out with Voicethread is the fact that students can pause, rewind, and to them that is, I say, gold. In student standards, it's like for a student to have a video and be able to pause, rewind, and come back to it at a later moment. It's for them. It's the best thing you can do. Yes, Amy, go ahead.
Well, I've been using Voicethread for years for lectures, and I have a couple of issues with it because I'm in history of art, so obviously the pictures are really important. And sometimes when I upload a PowerPoint, Voicethread kind of like messes with the framing of the images. Things get cut off. I have to go back. I need to resize the text boxes. So that's been a problem. But the biggest issue for me with Voicethread is that it doesn't do the captions. You know what I mean? Or it's like the process of correcting captions is really hard and laborious, and there's no help with it at all. So if you're trying to make your course really accessible, like, I just honestly, there are not enough hours in the day for me to take all of my online Voicethread lectures and to correct the captions. And now I'm in a situation where I want to re-record, like they're 3 years old and I want to re-record all of them. So what I was interested in with this new technology is whether it would be better for those issues in terms of the images and also captions.
Yeah, you bring up, to unpack, you said a lot of important things there. Captioning obviously is key. But VoiceThread, with the upgrade that we had last semester, it does caption, like you said. It is a little difficult to go in there and correct the captions. I'm glad you mentioned that because we will cover captions with Screencast-O-Matic, and I'll show you how easy it is to edit the captions. And also, I think you also mentioned the difficulty within VoiceThread to edit, and that's my biggest. And Jane knows this because Jane and I work a lot. But is the inflexibility that VoiceThread sometimes the way it presents it, not the way it presents it, but the way that you have to work on PowerPoint and edit your videos on PowerPoint. Once you have your slides ready, then you can then bring it into VoiceThread. But if there's a typo here or there, it's just then you got to go back to then VoiceThread
Start
and
over.
it's just oh gosh, the whole process, it's so inflexible. And then but I always try to stick to the positive. And the one thing that VoiceThread does really well is how Jane mentioned earlier, is just that human-to-human interaction, especially in a language like a modern language course where you're trying to teach your students Italian or Spanish, and then they can actually. But yes, I totally agree with you, Amy. I have headaches trying to edit. I sometimes resort to getting screen captures of the slides on PowerPoint as opposed to saving them as PDFs or PowerPoint and then and that will fix those converting it from a PowerPoint to VoiceThread. But I won't speak too much to VoiceThread because obviously we're here for Screencast-O-Matic. But another tool that we have at your disposal is QuickTime. If you're a Mac person, right? If you're a Mac person, QuickTime comes with a Mac. I used to use QuickTime a lot, but I gave up on QuickTime because with the recent upgrade in QuickTime is just so limiting in the sense, like QuickTime is a tool that you would use to put voiceover on your slides, right? If you want to you want to narrate over your slides, or you want to do a screen capture. QuickTime can do that, but there's a lot of shortcomings to QuickTime, and I'll show you later when we compare QuickTime to what Screencast-O-Matic can do. Another tool that I've seen faculty at FIT use is called Loom, L-O-O-M. It's a free tool. You can easily go to the Loom website, and it works great for, again, voiceovers over your slides, talking over your slides, or just screen captures. The only issue with Loom is it's not supported, right? We're not paying for it. And so if something ever happens, you run the risk of, hey, where's my content? Or how is it being used? What are the policies on privacy and so forth. So, but I see why faculty like Loom. Is very easy to use, very similar to Screencast-O-Matic. And it has a little nice round circle for your talking head, and whereas Screencast-O-Matic is a square. So I don't know, so that's Loom. And so the last tool is Screencast-O-Matic, and that's what we're going to kind of spend our time today. I'm going to show you my workflow. Now, Screencast-O-Matic is great for talking head video, like how you see me now, the top of my head and to my shoulders. So if you're doing a video, like an introduction video to your course, and you're introducing yourself to your students and you're welcoming them into your class, normally that would be a talking head video because they can see your face and you're speaking to them. So that's one option. The second option is then a voiceover video, talking over your PowerPoint slides, like how Jane does it for her for her lecture videos, right? And so that's option number 2. The third option with Screencast-O-Matic, and I'm going to show these options in a second. The third option is a combination of the two, of a talking head video, and then the screen recording, whatever is on your screen, you know, like your slides, or if you're showing them how to use Photoshop. And then in the corner, there's your talking head video. So I'm going to show you all the 3 options now, because it's probably easier to visualize it than just listening to me. So let me share my screen. And please stop me if there's any questions. Obviously, I don't want to be the only person speaking. So here we go. I'm sharing my screen. Okay. So you can find Screencast-O-Matic. By the way, if you don't have a license, just let me know. I'll be happy to give you a license to the Pro account that we at FIT we're paying for, right? So we pay for the Pro account. And if you're interested in a license, just let me know and I'll be happy to give you a license. Screencast-O-Matic can be found by going to your browser and typing in at the, on the top, Screencast hyphen the letter O hyphen matic.com. It always reminds me of the what was it, Veggie-Matic, I think it was. What was his name? He was like 90 years old, but he was like a bodybuilder. I think his name, Jack LaLanne. I remember Jack LaLanne when he used to do those as seen on TV show, and he had the Veggie-Matic, and then you would just throw in a carrot, throw in some apples, and throw in an orange, and you had a power drink. So same thing with Screencast-O-Matic. You can throw anything at it. It could be a talking head video. It could be a screen capture of your PowerPoint slides, and it will turn it into a video for you. Very easy, and I hope you'll find it easy, but I'll show you today. So here it is, ScreencastOMatic.com. So that's the website. If you need to download, please let me know. I will be happy to walk you through the process of downloading Screencast-O-Matic to your computer, because you do have to download the app to your computer. Otherwise, if you don't want to download the app to your computer, you can always go to the website and it can run. You can just run the camera directly from here, and it, that's another option if you don't. But the best way is to download it to your computer. And if you need help with that, please just let me know, and I'll be happy to show you how to download it.
Okay.
All right. So, any questions so far before we take a quick tour of Screencast-O-Matic? Any questions so far on what we covered?
No questions.
No.
Perfect. Okay. So the logo to Screencast-O-Matic looks like the Target logo. It's like that bullseye, but it's in blue, as you can see here on the bottom of my screen. And you can see it also on their website. Their logo is that like Target or logo. All right, so let me go ahead and open Screencast-O-Matic. When you open Screencast-O-Matic, you're going to get this little screen. I call this the dashboard. And basically, the dashboard lets you see videos that you have pre-recorded. So this is basically your library of videos, of pre-recorded videos. As you can see, I already have about 16 videos. And so these are the videos that are living on my computer. But if you just further on in our workshop, I'm going to talk about the 2 pathways. Either you go with YouTube for the hosting, or you stick with Screencast-O-Matic for the hosting. All right, so later on, we're going to talk about that decision that you have to make. Where do you want your videos to live? Do you want them to live on YouTube or on Screencast-O-Matic private server? And that's what we pay for at FIT. We pay for our own private Screencast-O-Matic server that will host these videos for you. Okay. And the reason why I mentioned that is because if you decide to go with Screencast-O-Matic as your hosting service, then when you go to the website, screencast-o-matic.com, you'll see a button there that says My Content. And if I click on that, you'll notice that I have much more than 16 videos because I have over 80 or so videos. So that's the difference, right? And we're going to talk more about that later. The difference of deciding, do you want to use YouTube or Screencast-O-Matic to host your videos? I just want to clear that up before we jump in.
So what would influence my decision, Jose?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Which one?
Yeah, so if you go with YouTube, you got to consider the fact that you're going to be working with YouTube, and so YouTube auto generates captions for you. So how Amy mentioned before, if you're the type that's going to be really working on your captions, perfecting them, are you familiar with the YouTube Studio environment? Are have you used it before? Because it is a little bit of a learning curve if you haven't, right? So that's one consideration. Second consideration, if you go with YouTube, are you using your FIT YouTube account? Because if you are, now you got to consider, hey, am I going to be working at FIT my whole life? Am I leaving sometime soon? Because if you leave FIT, you're going to lose your YouTube, your FIT email address, which is connected to your YouTube channel, right? So that's another consideration, which also will apply to Screencast-O-Matic if you leave FIT. Well, I don't have a policy of removing people. If I already give you a license, you have a license. So, so these are some considerations. So, yes, I hear a question.
Yeah, a question about the longevity of the email, the FIT email. Am I hearing correct that if I retire and I don't teach anymore, my FIT email will be no longer available?
Yeah, that's something like before I joined FIT, I was at Columbia. I left Columbia. They took away my my school account, my email.
Okay.
I lost all of that.
Okay.
What I know about schools is if you're an alumni, you get to keep the email. But as an employee, I'm almost 100% sure, and I can double check with IT, but most schools that I've worked at, you lose that account unless you're an alumni. So these are things to consider, right?
Yes, I understand.
Right.
Thank you.
Sure, that's a great question. So I believe from my experience that YouTube Studio, there is a learning curve to learning how to be a YouTuber and being able to navigate around the YouTube Studio. So that's one thing already that I keep in back in my mind. If I'm going to go with YouTube, hey, I got to be familiar with navigating through YouTube Studio. And I hope that answers the question. I think it was Amy, right, that asked that question.
So for someone who is close to retirement, then perhaps a good option would be to have your own personal YouTube account where you place all these resources so that even if you are disconnected with FIT, you still have those videos available, right?
That's a great idea. And being able to prepare.
Right.
If in some way or another you want to, number one, like keep all your emails, keep messages, or keep those resources. Right. If, as I say, you have documents in your Google Drive,
Right.
Now the school well, we're going a little bit far out here, but Google does allow you to control your data. But remember, it's it's under Google. The Google account falls under the school, so the school can
Yes.
even control. Right. So now we're getting into territory that gets a little bit.
Yep.
So I would advise you to check, yes, and check your
Yes.
IT also.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. So let's jump right into Screencast-O-Matic. So from this dashboard screen that you have here, in the top you have a red button, right? And it says record. And so if I click on that, that would open up the application, the Screencast-O-Matic. So if I click on this, this will open up Screencast-O-Matic. I already have it open, so just let me show you a quick tour of how Screencast-O-Matic looks like. And I'm going to use this PowerPoint as my example. So I'm going to click on this record button. This was launching recorder. And it's a very simplistic tool, very minimalistic, right? It's just a little box over here, and it's very, there's not much to it, right? It's just this little box with the 3 options. It has a little handle on the side that you can left click and drag it to anywhere on your screen. Right? I can move it to my desired location or placement on the screen. I like to have it on the left-hand side. I don't know, it just works for me. And remember the 3 options that I mentioned? Screen, webcam, or both. These are your 3 options. Screen, like I said before, screen capture, right? So if you are doing PowerPoint slides and you want to record the slides and talk over them, screen capture would do that. If you want to do, you want to teach Photoshop or Excel and you want to record the screen so the students can follow you, can shadow you, and they can see what you're doing, screen capture will do that for you. Webcam, option number 2, is the talking head video that you can do like an introduction video to your course. This would be a webcam video. Another example of a webcam video is feedback. If a student sends you a question, instead of typing out a response, and you want to show them how to actually, let's say they're asking you, hey, professor, I don't know how to do layers in Photoshop. Instead of typing out the answer, it's so much easier to show them by recording yourself and showing them the answer. If you want to give critical feedback to a student, easy. Turn on the recorder, say what you need to say, send it to them, call it a day. So these are some examples for how to use the webcam. The third option for both is a little bit more fancy. What you can do, what happens with both is, let me click on this so I can show you, is let's say I want to do a voiceover and also show my face. So let me give you an example of that. By the way, any questions before I continue? No questions?
No
Okay.
questions.
I assume you can go back and forth, right? If you have a lecture where you want to show them slides and then you want to show a short video and then you want to talk, you can just keep clicking back and forth and the recording will be one recording. Is that a thing?
Oh, Amy, you beat me to it, Amy.
Oh, sorry. That's the brilliant thing about this. It seems so much better than Voicethread.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was going to demonstrate.
Yeah,
So what
good.
So what Amy's talking about is live switching. Like, you know, if you watch a sports game, let's say baseball or football, you see how they're switching in real time? Like you're going from the announcer, you're going to the field, you're going to this or that, live switching. So this is a little bit fancier, but it's a really neat tool because if I want to open up the video with a talking head, I click on this little button here. I don't know if you can all see that. You have 3 little options right here at the bottom right corner. So this is live switching. So I'm going to switch to a talking head. All right, there's my talking head. So I say, hey class, welcome to lecture number 1. Today we're going to be talking about XYZ. Boom, now I switch to my slides. I just did a live switching.
Can you repeat that, please? How you did that?
Sure, definitely. So let's say let's say I'm doing a video, a lecture video.
Yeah.
Right, and I want to open the video with me introducing the lecture to the students, and so I don't want them to see the slide. I want them to see my face. So at the bottom right corner here, you have these three little squares. I hope you all can see that. I don't know if you guys can see it here in the corner.
Yes, we can.
Look at that. I can actually use my finger to point it. Where is it? Here.
Yes.
Look at that.
Yes.
That one right there?
Yes.
So this one, if I click on this, it will switch to a talking head.
Right.
Look at that.
Good. Yep.
In real time, I can go from that talking head. Now let's say I want to focus on the slide, and I press the second button here, and that brings me back to a little corner, and now the focus is on the slide. Okay. The third button. Sure. No. Let me know if I'm going too fast. Definitely. Or any questions. The third button over here, my guess, it doesn't do anything, but my guess is that they had intended for this minus button here to take away my talking head. But when I click on it, nothing happens. So I gotta reach out to them. That's what I think the intention of that third button was, to just remove the talking head. If you say, okay, I don't want to be on camera anymore, just remove it. But I'll show you later on where you can remove the talking head. If you say, hey, I don't like how I look and I just want to remove my talking head, fine. I'll show you later on at the end. Okay, so this third option is pretty fancy because you're getting the best of both worlds. You're getting screen capture and you're getting a talking head at the same time. It's like picture-in-picture. There was a feature that back in the day, the TVs came out with that feature that you can have picture-in-picture. I don't think people really needed it, so I think it went away. But that's picture-in-picture, right? You got two pictures happening at the same time. Okay. Now, super important, before you start recording, number one, you want to be in a quiet room, quiet place. And I've been fighting for a room that faculty can access. So I'm almost there. I almost have access to a room that I'm going to dedicate to faculty at FIT so that they can book it and use it. And we're almost there, obtain this room. So for me, this is like the best thing that could ever happen. So I'm so happy about that. So hopefully by next semester, I'm going to have a room that I can have faculty come in and book the room and just record, have a quiet place for faculty in the campus to record. So look out for that soon. That'll be hopefully by next semester, I hope. So number one, right, like I said, you want a quiet place. You want good lighting, right? You want to be aware of your surroundings. Like right now, I have this there. I don't want to move my jacket. So, right. So anything in your anything in your backdrop, you don't want it to be distracting, right? You don't want to have a TV in the back, anything that might be distracting because you're the focus of the attention, right? So those are the two rules: quiet room, nice lighting, no distractions behind you. And then so that's a tip I just wanted to lay out there. The next thing is for your settings. Here you'll notice max time. If you have the pro account, it should say none. But if you're using the free account, this will say 15 minutes. So be aware. If this has 15 minutes, it's because you probably have the free account. Just reach out to me and say, Jose, it looks like I have the free account. Can you give me the pro account? And I'll be happy to upgrade you to the pro account. So the free account maxes you out at 15 minutes. But with our pro account, you have unlimited recording. Okay. Any questions so far? Everybody okay?
No, all good.
I have a related question.
Mm-hmm.
I like the live switching feature. Now that
Uh-huh.
you can switch back and forth. And my question is whether you can do that when I am using Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, because when I show my screen, my 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 image disappears. I can only show
Yeah,
the screen, right? So
right.
it doesn't have that feature, right?
That's exactly. And I'm glad you mentioned Collaborate, because that's another tool I forgot to mention at the beginning. Is you can use Collaborate also, or Zoom or Google Meet, to actually do the recordings. But you got to remember those tools fall a little short. Like for example, like you mentioned, this feature of switching. You don't get that. Maybe Zoom I think might have it, but there's other features that we're going to cover in a second, where those
Okay.
tools like Collaborate, Google Meet, and Zoom fall a little short on what we're doing today with Screencast-O-Matic. But that's a great
Okay.
observation, Patrick.
Thank you. Thanks.
The next feature, or the next setting that I want to focus on, is size. And basically what size does is, just when you click on size, it gives you one, two, three, four options. And basically what that does is controls what on the screen is being recorded. I've never had to switch to any of the others. I've always done full screen, but if you have a situation where you only want to record a certain part of the screen, you would switch it to either 1080 or one of the, 720 or 480. Doesn't matter which one, because once you select one of these, you can always grab the corners and adjust the box. So what this means is that anything inside the box will get recorded. Anything outside the box will not get recorded. So here's an example where you might need this tool or this feature. Let's say you are explaining grades to a student, and you don't want to show that particular student the full grade, the grade center, right? You don't want him to see, or her, you don't want her to see other students' grades. So you're saying, oh, you know what? I'm just going to record the Tommy's column, right? So I only select, this column, so that this part only gets recorded, right? So that's how you can move it around and record a particular part of the screen, a specific part of the screen that you want to record, and avoid everything else. I don't know. I never had a use for it, but it's there if you need it. I always go with full screen, so that will record anything that's on my screen. And obviously, I'm going full screen with my PowerPoint, so I'm going with full screen. Okay. Any questions with that? No. Okay. The next setting, which is really important, is obviously your narration. If you don't see the green decibels moving up and down, that's a bad sign. That means that your audio will not be captured. So if you click on this little chevron to the right of the microphone, it will show you all the available microphones that are connected to your computer. So if I have none, you'll have a little red X there. And that's a red flag, because right now, if I were to record, my audio will not, my voice will not get picked up on the recording. Okay, so that's super important to know, that narration, you have to be able to see the green decibels moving up and down. Now, if you want to get fancy, if you're doing a lot of recordings, there are dedicated microphones out there that you can buy. Like there's one called the Yeti, it's a pretty popular one. The Snowball microphone is also popular. So these are dedicated microphones just for recording audio. Yes, I hear a question. Who, someone has a question? No? All right, I will continue, but I don't hear, your microphone might be muted, but I'm not sure if somebody has a question, but I will continue. Um, the bottom setting, the last one, most likely you oh, let me go back into the room. I think I hear questions. See, this is a problem with Collaborate. I can't. Here we go. Oh, Johanna? Hey, Johanna. I didn't know you were in here. You had a question?
Yes,
Oh,
I think actually, can you hear me now?
there we go. I can hear you, Johanna.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I've never used this before, so I think I had blocked it as the pop-up or something. I just had a question with the microphone thing. I was using Screencast-O-Matic to record, but I guess I wanted to know, do you have any tips for getting it so that I feel like I had to edit the sound a lot because it was picking up a lot of background. Is there anything I can do about that, or is it just the quality of my microphone?
Yeah, so again, I mean, the internal microphones that you get with some computers, depending on the brand, I'm not gonna hate on brands now, but you know, there's some computers that have better microphones than others, so it's hard to tell unless you try a different computer with a microphone that might be a better quality, or buying a dedicated microphone.
Okay.
You know, that might improve the quality. I remember one trick that I used to use back in the day when I used to do a lot more recordings. I used to put a jacket over my head and create like a
Oh.
dome. I used to create a dome, and I put a jacket over my head, and I had the laptop, and I covered my head over the laptop, so that I created a dome, so that my audio will pick up. I mean, there's so many tricks out there, but again, the number one is just going to a room that's quiet. You know, you have no interruptions. You're not going to hear the sirens in the street. It's tricky, you know, with audio. But again, the number one important thing is audio, because you can have a great movie, but if the audio is horrible, most likely people are not going to sit through the, you know, there's like screeching sounds, but the video looks amazing, but the audio is horrible. So audio is number one at the top, and that sometimes people forget. So my recommendation, I guess, is to try a different computer or try the dedicated mic.
Okay.
I have one, Johanna. If you ever need one, you can come by and borrow it.
Oh,
I
okay.
have the Snowball, so come by and I'll be happy to
Okay.
lend it out to you.
I might take you up on that. That would be. I have some videos I think I need to re-record because the sound is not good. So yeah. Thank you. Thanks for that.
Sure, no, great question. So let me. Okay, here we go. Let me open up my. Okay, so yeah, so we talked about. So here we talked about. Oh, the last feature, the last settings, computer audio. This can come in handy. And I'm not promoting anything illegal here. I'm just letting you know that with computer audio, if you have, let's say, a movie playing on your computer, and you're just looking to record the movie or a song or whatever that is, you can turn off the microphone like this, and say none, and then turn on computer audio. And so what this will do is you can record a movie or a video or a song, and the audio source is coming directly from the computer, and you can actually talk, and you can do, you know, you can continue doing your regular routine and talking, and your audio will not get picked up in the recording, only the audio coming in from the computer. Really neat if you ever need to do record something from the internet, or, you know, and I'm not promoting illegal, you know, I'm not promoting illegal copying here, but this is what this will do if you ever need to copy a movie and get direct audio coming in from the computer. Very neat to have that feature. All right. Any questions before we do our first recording?
No.
All right, great. Okay, so as you can see, the built-in microphone that I have is on a Mac on my Mac computer. So it's a built-in microphone. So I don't have a dedicated microphone connected right now to my computer. So I only have the built-in. And to Johanna's point, once you select the microphone, you can always adjust the volume and play around with the settings and do a test recording before you actually start recording. So that might be helpful to you if you want to do a test recording before you go live. Okay, I got 20 minutes, so I'm gonna go through the workflow now. Oh, the workflow that I follow, I'm just gonna share that with you. And then I'll do that in about 15 minutes, and then I'll leave 5 minutes at the end for questions. Okay, so I think I'm ready. I reviewed my PowerPoint slides. I made sure all my slides are good to go. Very important to make sure you look over your slides before you start recording, because again, we're trying to minimize editing and having to redo the whole thing over. All right, so I'm gonna go with, let's say, let's go fancy. I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna do talking head and screen capture. So I'm gonna do the fancy one. Okay. Oh, by the way, there's a hidden preference button here at the bottom. I don't really use it, but if you're into shortcuts, if you click on preferences, you can create your own shortcuts if you're interested in that. Like, for example, pause can be whatever you make it, countdown, yes or no. So this will allow you to customize Screencast-O-Matic even further, right? If you're into these shortcuts, you can do that here, or hotkeys. I don't use it, but if you're into that, feel free to go in there and play with that. All right, so I think I'm ready. I'm going to use this as this slide deck as my presentation, and at the bottom here, at the bottom left corner, you'll have the record button, right? And that's what you would, once you're ready, that's what you click on to start the recording. If you want this to go away, if this is interfering, you can just click on the X. Don't worry, it won't close the application, it just minimizes. So this could be a little confusing. So don't be afraid to click on the X. It's just going to minimize it. See, it went away. If I want it back, click on the gear icon and it comes back. So don't be afraid to click on the X. It's not going to close the program. Okay, so I'm just going to minimize it for now. And so you see it's very minimal, right? It's a little bar you can move anywhere. So that's Screencast-O-Matic, non-intrusive. All right, so I'm going to hit record. It's going to give me a countdown. 3, 2, 1. Oh, I forgot to make sure that you maximize your slides. And don't worry if you make a mistake, because I'm going to show you how to do some corrections, right? So I'm going to open up with my talking head. So I'm going to switch real quick to talking head. All right, so I'm going to say, welcome class. Today we're going to be talking about XYZ. I hope you all did your homework. And welcome to lecture number 2. And so I'm going to click to switch now to my slides. Now I can move. Remember, you can always move your talking head to wherever you want it to go. So I'm going to put it here for now. Notice on the bottom left corner, you have the timer running. Very important to keep your eye on this, because this lets you know how long you've been lecturing for. And always remember, short videos are the best. Think of yourself as a YouTuber, right? You don't want to go on for too long, right? Because you want to hit those main points, get the takeaways, cover the takeaways, and move on. And just keep an eye on this. So I'm up to 1 minute so far. So that's your timer. If I want to pause, I can pause. This is similar to Voicethread. Remember, on Voicethread you can record slide by slide. I highly recommend this process, because you don't want to go through the whole slide deck on one take, right? So if you want to take one slide at a time and think it through and what you're going to say, I highly recommend to press the pause button once you're done with that recording. And then when you're ready to jump back in, just hit the record button. And you see here it says continue recording where you left off. So so this gives you a break. You can stop, get some water, and prepare for the next slide. If that's the way you want to, that's the way you want to approach it. I know some people are one takers. They want to do the whole thing on one take. Hey, that's fine. Whatever works for you. All right. So I just want to let you know that you can pause and continue where you left off. So I'm going to hit record, and this will, once I hit record, it'll pick up exactly where I left off. Okay. And then you get the time countdown one more time. So now I'm going to jump to slide number 2. Now, Screencast-O-Matic has amazing annotation tools. They're up here at the top. These are allows you to annotate. I'm a big fan of PowerPoint's annotation tools. I prefer to use the PowerPoint annotation tools, but you have a choice. You can either use Screencast-O-Matic annotation tool or PowerPoint. So at the bottom left corner, if I click on the pencil icon, I get this little menu that pops up. If I click on the pen tool, now I can say, okay, class, make sure you click on the quick access toolbar, right? So this is annotation. This is being recorded as you're speaking. I can circle. It's a little bit of a lag and it takes some getting used to, but once you figure it out, you can draw arrows, right? If I want to switch back, just hover over. You see how it disappears? You got to know that it's there. If you don't know it's there, you can't use it, right? So if you mouse over the bottom left corner, it reappears. I click on the pencil tool and I want to go back to the arrow. I click on the arrow. I can also move my talking head and say, I can use my hand and say, you see down below here, that is the screenshot of where you find the customized access toolbar. So you can move yourself around too. If to draw the attention of what you want the students to focus on. If you have slides that are heavy with, graphics and text, which is not a recommendation, but you can move yourself to point to the area on the screen that you want them to focus on. Another tool that you can use is a laser pointer, right? So now I can use a laser pointer and say, okay, here, quick access bar right here, or down there, I can point, and they can see that my laser pointer in red is pointing to maybe here. So that's another way that you can use that. Any questions so far?
No.
All right, great. All right, I'm going to switch back to the arrow. Actually, let me pause it here because I want to show you that I'm up to 3 minutes and 49 seconds. Screencast-O-Matic allows you to correct your boo-boos directly from here. So if I know I said something wrong, if I said the wrong thing, I can always click on the play button to watch the video and then I can take myself back to that point where I screwed up. And then from there, I hit the record button and you record over your boo-boo. So I don't know if you guys remember, I used to love recording over the radio. And I would, I had my tape deck and I would hit record and then the DJ would just jump in. I'm like, oh no, now the DJ jumps in there. Now I don't want people to know I recorded from the radio station. So that would be the part where I would go back where the DJ jumped in and started talking and then remove that part. You can do that from right here. And so I can click on the certain point in the video and start recording over that. Okay, so that's how you would do that. If you don't like the video, you want to start from scratch, just hit the trash can and you start recording, you trash the recording and start over again. If you're happy with the recording, then just click done. And then you get 3 options here. Once I click on done, I can either save the video to my computer as an MP4 file. Now remember, video files take up a lot of space. So be cautious of your hard drive space if you're going to save the video onto your computer. You can also take that, if it's taking too much space on your computer, you can always put it into your Google Drive and then delete it from your hard drive. That's another option. You can do a quick share. If it's something like a student feedback and you just want to send the student the link to your feedback, to your critique, then you can do quick share and then just type in the student's email address and then send the video directly to that one student. The third option, edit video, is what I'm going to do now. And edit video is, remember we talked about the two paths? You can either go with YouTube or Screencast-O-Matic. So if you're going to go with Screencast-O-Matic, you want to make sure you do edit and add the captions. So Amy, this is where you would do the captions. Right here, you click on captions. And you have to select the language that you want the video. I'm sorry?
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. But let me show you how easy it is, Amy, to edit. So I click English and then I do speech to text. And all I got to do is hit start. And Screencast-O-Matic will start generating the captions. Now, once it's generating, you don't have to wait for the captions. You can just go ahead and click OK and move on. But if you want to edit the captions from right here, right away, I can just click here and say, let me see, are there any errors here? It did pretty good job. Yeah, all right, so let's say I do a comma here. I just click comma. So it's that easy, right? You just click on I'm trying to find, it's pretty good. I'll say it's like 95, 97% accurate. It's amazing how they keep getting better and better. It even capitalizes, punctuations. I can't find a grammatical error here, but you can see that you can click here and then type in, you can correct the word, you know, if it's supposed to be time or timer, just type it in. It's very simple. Much easier than YouTube Studio. I hear a question?
Jose, it's Jane. I'm sorry. I keep missing where you say you click to be able to edit the wording.
Oh, so you have the little cursor and you move the cursor to anywhere on the word. You can just highlight it and then type
Okay,
it.
but that comes up by doing what?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Let me go back. Let me go back. Oh, wait a second. Okay, I can still go. I can still go in there. I gotta go to. Okay. So when I go to edit, right
Okay.
here.
Right. Click.
Right. When you get the three options, remember the three options of to save
Right.
the video
Click,
or to share. The
click
third
captions.
one. Right, and then captions.
Then when you get captions, then you select the language. Okay, got that.
And then the pencil. In this case, it's already been here once. It's a little different, but I click on the pencil tool, and then now I can just.
Ah, it's the pencil. Okay.
Right, now I can edit. It's simply by clicking and selecting the word that needs to be corrected, and then typing over it.
Right. Okay. Then.
It's that easy. Then you hit OK. Your captions are fixed and they're done. I'm gonna move a little quicker because I know I have 6 minutes. I just want to be sensitive of people's time. If I hate my narration and I don't like it, I can remove it by unchecking narration right here. If I want to add a music and I want to add a song, I can click on music. And there's a lot of songs you can choose from, or you can upload your own music. There's a large selection of songs, and they're categorized in different, categories. Ambiance, cinematic, acoustic. So you can pick music if you want to do that. You can remove the cursor. The cursor, you notice, is bright yellow. Let me play that for you so you can see. Oh, I forgot to make sure that you maximize your slides. And don't worry if you make a mistake, because I'm going to show you how to do some corrections, right? So you see how bright yellow that cursor is? That's how it's going to look. If you don't like it, you can just uncheck it and the cursor goes away. If you don't like your talking head, remember I said to you at the end you are able to remove it? Uncheck this box and your talking head disappears. See that? So you still have a lot of control over your video. Now these are the features that what I mean by Screencast-O-Matic takes it to another level of flexibility. And the captions, right? So that's what that is right there. Now, you also, I'm not going to go too deep into this because I know this is a little bit more advanced, but you can also remove the ums and the ahs and the spaces and the boo-boos simply by going to here, Tools, and there's a lot of options here for you. You can re-record your narration, you can overlay images, you can add text, you can do call to actions, very fancy stuff, but for a very simple correction, just go to the cut tool, find your boo-boo, either you said the wrong word or something, or some ums or a lot of ahs, then you go to the little red bar, drag it to where the mistake is, then you can play it back if you want to hear how it sounds without this uh, this area of the video. You can preview it before you make your decision, and once you hit OK, it trims the video for you, and it's gone. So that's how you would do. That's how you would remove um, areas of the video that you want to cut out. Now, you can spend hours editing your video. I mean, I sometimes get stuck in for endless days editing videos. So be careful. It could be a rabbit hole. Yes, I hear a question.
I have a question about, you said if you upload this to YouTube, then it will also add captions? Like if you fix the captions here, can you then just turn off YouTube captions so that these are the only ones?
Yes, you can do that. It's a little bit complicated because now you're adding several steps. Because with Screencast-O-Matic, you can download the captions to your computer, then go to YouTube Studio and upload your captions into the YouTube video that way. If that's what you're asking, right? That's what you're
What
saying.
kind of file does it produce? Could you show us how to download the captions and?
Sure, sure. Captions are, oh my gosh, I'm blanking right now. Captions are dot, oh gosh, I'm forgetting right now.
TXT?
Yes, yes, yes. SRTs.
Or SRT,
Dot,
okay.
yeah, dot SRTs. So caption files are dot SRTs, and Screencast-O-Matic will provide you the SRT file. I don't have enough time to show you, Amy, how to
Okay.
download it. I'd be happy
Okay.
to. If anybody needs to know how to download SRTs from Screencast-O-Matic, I'll be happy to do a recording of it and send it to you. But since I'm running a little late now, I'm just
Okay.
going to show you the last step, and I apologize. I'm going to show you the last step. Once we're done editing the video and you're happy with the video, you know, you have nice music, cursor, webcam, captions, all that good stuff, you click on Done. Now, this is the decision that we've been talking about, right? Which path am I going to choose? Where am I going to go with this? Right? Here are your three options. Am I going to go to save it to my computer as a video file? That would be an MP4 file. And remember, think about file size. Or do I want to go to Screencast-O-Matic? Or do I want to go to YouTube? Now, if you go to YouTube, you can also connect Screencast-O-Matic to your YouTube, and it will automatically upload it to your channel. And I can show you how to do that. If you're interested, let me know, and I'll be happy to create that connection, help you create that connection where Screencast-O-Matic will upload directly to your YouTube channel. My preferred method is Screencast-O-Matic, and the reason why is if I go to Screencast-O-Matic and I go to Blackboard and I go to build content and go to Screencast-O-Matic, the video will automatically show up in your course. There's no need to embed anything. Your video will automatically show up in your course. That's pretty amazing. So for this demonstration, I'm going to show you Screencast-O-Matic real quick. I'm going to go with upload to Screencast-O-Matic. So here here's my email, my account. I give it a title. You simply click on it and give it a title. Let's say I call this lecture 1. Pretty much everything's good to go. I want to keep my cursor, quality, I'll keep it to normal. This is very important, visibility. Same as YouTube, right? You get public, That means everybody can see your video. With Screencast-O-Matic, that would mean that anybody at FIT would be able to see your video. But if you want to keep it unlisted, which I recommend, only your students will be able to see your video. So I think unlisted is the best option. The same with YouTube. You get 3 options: public, unlisted, or private. The same applies in YouTube. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click publish. Now this is being published directly to my Screencast-O-Matic account, and it will show up on my Blackboard. I'll show you that real quick. I'm just going to click continue in the background. And now real quick, and I apologize, I'm going a little over here, but let me show you now from the Blackboard side. So if I go now to Blackboard, and then if I go to my course, and if I go to the content area of my course, I go to build content, select Screencast-O-Matic, give it a name, lecture number 1, click submit. If I click on this title, my video will be now in the list of videos I can choose from. So let me show you that. So if I click here now, look at that. So now these are all my pre-recorded videos. The video that I just did hasn't yet processed, but once it gets processed, it will be here at the top. This is my my example. So I'm going to click on this one. There is the video. Now I can choose the player. They can hide the title if you don't want them to see the title. You can show controls, captions. Obviously, keep this one on. I take off autoplay because that could be annoying. What that does is that the video automatically starts to play. And I don't want to annoy my students. I want them to click on the play button. So I'm going to take off autoplay. And then I click embed. And that's it. You're done, right? So now if I go back into content, just to demonstrate to you. Now the video went directly from Screencast-O-Matic to Blackboard. They're integrated. That's why I prefer going with Screencast-O-Matic than going with YouTube, because if you go with YouTube, now you got to go to YouTube, copy the embed code, go back into Blackboard, click build content, and then add it as an item. That takes a lot more steps. Whereas Screencast-O-Matic, automatically the video shows up in Blackboard, and I can just choose it from there. So the student clicks here, lecture, then the video plays right there. And the student clicks here. Okay, and so here I'm recording. You can see right away that the timer is going, right? So that's okay. Oh, I hear questions.
Yeah, I have a question. Jane? When you embed oh, I'm sorry, Jane, go ahead.
No, wasn't me that asked a question, just Amy.
Oh,
Amy,
okay.
sorry.
Yeah, so when I embed a YouTube video, they actually see the video, you know, like in the folder.
Right.
They don't, this is just you see the link, but not the screen for this, right? So,
great point, Amy. That's a great point. Yes, you're right. Now,
okay.
you do have the option to embed it the way that you're describing. And
okay.
I just kept it very simple today, but if you want to do it that way, you can just go back into Screencast-O-Matic, right? Select the video. In this case, this is the video that I just did today, or the one that I embedded. You go inside the video here.
Yeah. Oh, and do the share. Okay.
There you go. Yep, you got it. And then,
okay.
Yeah.
Got
I was trying to keep it. I was trying to keep it simple, but you're right. Right. And you also got a lot of more functionality here. You can even download the video.
Right.
You can switch it now to yes.
I have one more question, which is that I understand if it's kept in FIT's Screencast-O-Matic platform, you can't take it with you unless you have the MP4 or unless you've also uploaded it to your YouTube channel. But I'm assuming that you still retain copyright. I mean, FIT can't then just give your videos to another professor, right?
Correct. No, this is your
Okay.
property. Yeah, this is your intellectual property. And with Screencast-O-Matic, then if you're saying, oh, I'm not going to be at FIT, I'm going to move on, let's say next year. That allows you time to go into your Screencast-O-Matic account, do exactly what I just did here. Well, this is the embed code. Let me go back the other way. And then you can just download.
Right.
And then, I always keep a copy on my Google Drive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me. That's the way I.
Yeah. Okay.
Or another way is to go into the video and then send them all to your YouTube. You still have the option to send them back to YouTube.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
Sure. That's a great question. Thank you, Amy, for that one. Yeah, remember, these videos belong to you. This is your intellectual property. This is your sweat and tears, these videos. But the beauty about videos is that you reuse them. You can go on reusing them. And Jane, I mean, you spent hours doing those Voicethread videos, but you can reuse them for semesters on and on and on.
Yes.
So I highly recommend videos, and I believe videos will play a major role as we go forward. Highly recommended, because I mean, as we all saw during the remote period, I mean, we had to scramble and try to figure out what to do. Where I saw many faculties who actually had videos had an easier time, because then they had these videos already prepared ahead of time. Not only that, I'm starting to see online faculty use their online videos for face-to-face. So you're seeing more online strategies going now into your face-to-face. So it's funny how you go one direction, but then you end up in but if you have a snow day, you already have the video. Or do I want to flip the classroom? They can watch the video before they come to classroom, and my classroom now becomes a discussion classroom and no longer a lecture. I mean, so the possibilities are all there. So I'll leave you with that. I've been
Thank
talking
you,
for too long.
Jose. I need to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was great to see everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks
Great.
Bye.
for coming by.
Okay.
And feel free, if you have any questions, email me, or if you need help with anything, I'll be happy to help.
Great. Thank you, Jose. I'll definitely use this with the new edition of the textbook.
Thanks.
Great.
Bye.
All right. You take care.
Take
Happy
care.
holidays, everyone.
Oh yeah,
Bye
happy
now.
holidays.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks.